Laughter is such the epic medicine, I'm telling you. Okay, guys, here we go. So for the very first listen without me playing Minecraft, we're going to listen to right now. This is the 2017 trailer. And remember, like I said at the beginning of this, I already saw this once, but it was when I was having audio problems on that stream. So I'm sure I'll be familiar with it, but it'll be a nice little WD-40 for our listening session. Okay, here we go. Looks like a golf course.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of the Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
Tells me that you have no recollection of me, however.
I think you are now ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
Everything I've done up until now, it was all for nothing.
Here it comes! You must save her, my daughter.
All right, a couple things I want to mention about this. Oh, sorry. I just threw the bones on the juju there by starting to talk. One of the things...
Open your eyes.
All right, there we go. You know, one of the beautiful things about this, listening to this to a second time, putting a different set of ears on this, was in my mind as a composer mapping out this composition, the movements based on what was happening with the scenes. That's a very standard thing that happens for composers. And, you know, a lot of them, if not almost every single one, will do the jump cuts to the more bolder scenes will require a different kind of composition. I want to go back to the very beginning here, and I'm only going to play short little sections. How, like, for instance, this is more of an establishing scene kind of vibe. So it's going to be a little more breathier as this is getting you in. Kind of pensive. Where am I? Where am I going? but beautiful long strings here. So the establishing scene shot music here is just very beautiful and very setting. But then what ends up happening is, as soon as it cuts to the sword, which I think is going to come soon, they give it an isolated and very intimate part of the composition. So right now, we have this music that's still establishing with, now, intimacy. And that's what that oboe is all about. And then, you know, now we're going to hit you with the grandioso, right? This is you against the world, kill it. So now the orchestration and the composition changes, you know, pretty abruptly. As it starts to get into a little more of, now he's moving, he's cooking.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of the Calamity Ganon.
Now here, I didn't mean he's cooking like he's making a hamburger. I mean, at that point he got on the horse, he started to go. Obviously here during the storytelling, also by the tone of the voice, of the voiceover artist, this very calm, kind of chill, mid-range voice that she has, perfect tone for the music that was written for this particular section, which really pulls back, because it becomes more of a storytelling, like a Once Upon a Time kind of vibe.
A primal evil that has endured over the ages.
But then eventually it's going to step up and really give you the people's elbow once the darkness of, like, the journey is, we're set off on the journey and here's the way it looks and here's everything. But now as this trailer moved forward, once it started banging with the energy, so did the music. So let me zip forward to a little more of a banger, which would be like this area. Now we're into the heaviness. Now, but what you're going to see is that even though they've established a real heaviness on this, they change, or the composer changes the heaviness into some darkness, still having the agitation and the anxiety. But let's go ahead and get into another part of this where they get into more of a fighting vibe here. I mean, but even here, even the transition from here into the other scene.
That look on your face tells me that you have
They open
no
it up again for the
recollection of
narrative.
me, however.
I think you are now ready to hear what
Now they're going to hit you again with more
100
power.
years ago.
Now, if you notice in this section, the darkness is represented by the lower horns, and that is a very impactful part. We still got the timpanis or the storm drums going and stuff, but now what ended up happening is some of the heaviness that, there was still heaviness in the last bit of action music that he composed, but the heaviness here now is represented by darker, grittier horns, and the anxiety is only, at this point, is the strings just doing, you know, that kind of like a really kind of weird, not weird, but it wasn't really heavy on the composition, but it's enough sitting in your head that it does kind of zip line you.
Everything I've done up until now, it was all for nothing.
Now that has to be a pretty tough call there, because her voice almost disappears in the mix on that, and I'm sure that it depends on what you're listening to. I'm listening to my headsets, but if you're listening to it on smaller speakers and stuff, depending on the tone levels that your speakers can present, you know, that's the tough thing about that really soft voice that she had when it broke into the narrative, and there was still that pounding. Should have been a little drop in the mix there, but who am I, right? So now it's like the highlight reel of all the action, probably throughout the game, is being, you know, this little sizzle section here of all the, you know, the battles and stuff like that. So now as far as an orchestra is concerned, you're coming in full tilt, you know, with everything. All the bits and pieces are there. And I want to see something here. Let me move up to here, just to this last section here. See how they kind of bring us out of it.
You must say
Then it's going to be an ice.
My daughter.
I call this an ice ending because this right here kind of lets it sizzle out a little bit. And then it caught me off guard again, obviously, because this came back.
Open your eyes.
So I thought it was great. And I got to tell you something, too. One of the things about this new journey that I'm going to be taking, listening to music, I don't necessarily know that, you know, the whole world, the whole reaction vibe and everything is always about the first listens. But I would not have been able to give this kind of a breakdown had I not already had a little bit of an introduction to it. So as I move forward with these channels that I have, be it the heavy metal and the OST, one of the things I'm considering doing is listening to a few tracks before I go dive into it. You know, because I think I've told you guys before, sometimes I get really pissed off when I do a video, right? Which used to be reaction videos. And then I'd be doing it and rendering it out, and I'd go, oh shit, I forgot to talk about the drums. I forgot to talk about that. This time, the second time around, I can pick up on those particular nuances and give you the analysis I did. And remember, though, these are just my opinions, right? But at least when it comes to, if there's any young composers out there and stuff, at least some of this stuff that I said on the last analysis was more of, you know, how to rig up your notes from your spotting session from a director and, you know, do your outlining or your mock-up of your sessions or your mock-up of your whole score before you move forward. So that's a cool one. All right, so what's the latest one you guys are telling me to watch? The one that's supposed to release next week? What should I put in the search thing on YouTube for me to find it? Hi, Airwave Ranger. Tears of the Kingdom Trailer 3. Okay. Hang on, I'm on a peanut butter sticky rooftop of my mouth thing. Okay, wow, this thing only released 6 days ago and it's got almost 8 million views. Too bad I'm not a reactor anymore. I would take advantage of that and do my react. I'd much rather have you guys here with me. I love this. Okay, so here we go. Hype? Is everybody hype? I saw hype. Is everybody hyping? Is everybody hyping? Okay, here we go. No more peanut butter in my mouth. Coffee, water, I'm rigged. Here we go, guys. This is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom official trailer. All right. Very bold. Wow, that was a trip. That was great use. Wow.
Zelda, we rely on your knight and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Link.
I love that.
I know why I am here. It's something only I can do.
Do not look away. You witness a king's revival and the birth of his new world.
Okay, let's go!
But you are not alone.
Link. You are our final hope.
Trippy. Not too sure it's the ending yet, you know. Gotta wait.
Link. You must find me.
All right. That was heavy but predictable, right? Remember what I just went through with the last trailer? I started yapping my mouth before they finished off with this. Stop. There's no two ways about it. I think one of the things that I found really super step off, and somebody left some comments too, was the unique hybrid use of some more current digital composition using more of a hybrid orchestra with synths and engineering technique, like the voices that were popping. If you have your headsets on, obviously, or your earbuds or whatever you're listening to that confines you to this kind of a experience in stereo, you definitely heard things that were kind of throwing. It's really funny. I've noticed this too, is that when people have their headsets on and I'm watching them listen to music that I know that there's going to be some really weird effects, you watch their eyes respond to it. So if it's going left, right, and it happens really fast, you can watch the person's eyes kind of go. And it's a neural reflex, I think. I don't know. I'm not a urologist. I'm not one of those guys. But it just seems to be that universal response. Now, in the same methodology as I was analyzing the very first trailer that we did, without a doubt, this is one of those kind of things where the composer is sitting down with the director or the devs or however that works, and they've mapped this out. Maybe it's not, I guarantee when the composer gets this, I can almost guarantee it's not colorized, it's not finalized in the voiceover mixes and stuff like that. None of that. They're probably giving him, or is it her? I forgot. Oh shit. What's the name of the composer again? A rough, but locked to picture, hopefully. Something like this, you definitely are hoping to God that you have locked to picture, which happens to composers where they get a piece of work and you're working on a video game or a movie or something, everything's great, and then they realize they had to cut this and cut that, throws all your edits off, you know, so you always have to be open for that little bit of a Heimlich maneuver. Nonetheless, let's go back really quick. Let's give it a little Jeeves-mentary style analysis really quick while I skip around. I kind of like that snap open. It's like, wake up. So what do we have here? We have your establishing scene, right? So most likely it's going to be wide, bolder, bold, wide, soft call to actions. I'm not saying it right. Soft instrumentations to establish atmosphere. Now it changed up quicker than the other one because now our hero's in, right? But it's still just very beautiful, bold, melodic. The hero's coming into action. And here he is. So what's really funny about that is Dun, 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 dun. That little movement has been used a few times, but not. I definitely do not say it in the same vein of the composer's using somebody. It's using something that he heard somewhere else. It's just a transition of notes and stuff, but that has a very bullfight. Dun 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 dun. You know, you almost feel like it's a bullfight. You know, the bull's about to come out, and you got the little guy with the cape. And funny enough, he opens up his little "How do you do," and he's flying around and stuff. But I like that. And as soon as the term Zelda came in, it was like, I'm here for the rescue kind of vibe. You know. Another establishing scene pullback. What a great voice there, huh? Or it could be a Vocaloid, but building us back into some kind of heaviness. Jump. Right there. I love that. Let's go back. That reverse wop. These are like reverse vocal. They're not hits or anything like that, but those are sick. Those are really great to me, you know, because the first trailer was very full, bold orchestral work, and I didn't hear, if any, synth or modern day module implemented musicality. In this case, they really, not only do they use it, but they really use it in a very unique way. Like, for instance, this world, whatever we're looking at, has that kind of void, vortex, portal kind of vibe, like you're punching through something. So and that's the way I see it. As an old guy that doesn't know anything about the game, I just see it that way. And the composer's use of that womp, womp, womp with the vocals really hits hard there. Let me take it back. Is that trippy? Also, it's not Vocaloid? Okay, thanks. So right then and there, they're using your typical darkness bottom end with the horns, you know. But the higher stuff that's happening, you know, with it could be, I don't know, it's not a xylophone, but a mallet instrument along with the string. Anything that you hear with that, you know, a staccato kind of vibe, kind of a spiccato kind of vibe, fast, 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 causes that anxiety. If those pieces were not in there and it was just boom, 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 you'd still feel the heaviness, but not the anxiety of the movement that's matched in the video game. So let's go to another section here. I think this was, yeah, we're still in the same storyline. Now we're chilling out for some kind of narrative, I think.
Zelda, we rely on your knight and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Don't get any in your eye. So that little transition between what he said and, like, apparently in this part is where she is, I guess, recollecting Link, or it's the fact that maybe the character Link is being brought back in for a long time in the storyline. I guess, I don't know. Or maybe because it's been 5 years, I guess you guys have said, since they keep on pushing the game release, that it's that really big surprise, like he is coming back. This is going to be the joining, you know, moment between both characters. Let's go into another section here. Here's where it really starts to start banging. There's some more of that weird vocal effect.
I know why I am here. It's something only I can do.
Do not look away. You witness a king's revival and the birth of his...
What's really cool about this section after she got through talking, did you notice that because of the explosions and the sound effects that were going on, without having to compete with that too much, but still support it, it was just the giant storm drums and really the super forte for those musicians, you know what I'm talking about. Darker bottom end brass section. There was nothing happening on the top because there was no forward, in my mind. If I'm looking at this, I'm not seeing any top arrangements that are agitated. It's because the characters are looking down at you. This is just my interpretation, okay? So you have this looking down this way and establishing themselves in the darkness of this red thing. So the music in and of itself, in my opinion, the way the composer wrote it is freaking perfect. Dark, heavy, bottom loaded and stuff like that. And that's what I love about this.
New world.
Okay, let's go!
But you are not alone.
Is that the melody? Is da 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 da? Is that the main melody of Zelda? I don't know. I can't recall. I don't have the experience. But if that is the repeated melody, oh, it is. Okay, so that is the theme. So that's another iteration for it. I think I recognize it a little bit now from the first listen that I had on that trailer. It makes a little more sense. Now let's just go to this last little section here. Let me go back a little.
Are not alone. Link. You are our final hope.
I like that little sucking soundscape. Roar. Little trailing off piano way in the background, throwing a lot of reverb on it. Then the final, how do you do?
Link. You must find me.
There it is. Well, you guys must be so absolutely pumped for this to come out. For those of you who are Zelda fans, you guys must be just over the moon. Now, before I move on to doing some Minecraft and listening to the rest of that OST, I've heard, and I just saw a recent, some gaming channel guy who had a bazooka amount of subscribers was kind of waylaying on the fact that you can never trust the trailer or the screenshots or the thumbnails or the artwork of promotional spins or sizzle reels of products coming up as far as the relatable authenticity. So in other words, and I don't know this, so I'm not saying that I know, I'm asking you guys, when I watch a trailer like this, in my mind, I'm expecting that the game is going to play like that. I don't mean, you know what I'm talking about, by the GUI or by the visual, you know? And that would be my expectation as a noob. And I don't know, does that happen often, or is that kind of a little bit of the middle of the road where they bang out these trailers and then it's not quite what it looks like or something? Anything like that? Oh, so it's a little more laid back. Okay. Well, I gotta admit, so it's showing a mix of gameplay and cinematic. Okay. Not actual gameplay at the bottom. Oh, so there's a disclaimer like in all those drug commercials for 45 seconds to say when you're done taking this drug, your kidney will fall out of your ass, your lungs might explode. All right. So I guess for professional gamers, I mean, for long-time gamers, you kind of know what to expect, right? Hi, Jess Javerga. I wouldn't say it's a huge problem, but just something. Okay. Well, I'm not ready to play this game yet. I'm next up to bat on Journey, okay? I was supposed to do that last week, but this nonprofit stuff that I've been doing and working on is kind of have to reset my schedule. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right, guys, before I get in there, let me thank a few people, and then we'll get into the treehouse building, Minecraft, listening to the rest of the Zelda OST that I was, what was it called? BOTW, Zelda BOTW 2. Thanks, Harbinger, or Harbinger from Num. Thank you very much. What is that? You should do a section on Halo 3 and ODS campaign. Oh, yeah, you're right. Especially since I've already interviewed Marty. I should do that. Is Halo even a thing anymore? Is it just like more of, you know, legacy players that are... I mean, did Halo kind of fall off the map? I heard there were some problems when Bungie changed other people or something, that it's not as fun as it used to be or something. You know? It's more of a legacy. More like an old guy like me who would want to pick up the paddle and just start blowing up and using the needler again, huh? Yeah. I guess they tried too hard, yeah. Marty O'Donnell. Yeah, you guys know I did that, right? That podcast? That was great.